Hey, it happened. I'm the latest victim of this lady. This was my basement a few days ago. Oh my God, look at all that stuff. And this is my basement now. Yeah! All right, it's still a work in progress, but it's coming along, right? Hi, I'm Tim Welch. This is my YouTube account, Selfless Awakening, where I ground all of this spiritual stuff. Subscribe if you like what I'm talking about, okay? So, here we go. I want to talk about stuff today. I want to talk about what it was like letting go of all that stuff. Spending $1,200 on a junk removal person to get rid of all my stuff. Whoa! Man, it was amazing. But before I get into all of that, the first thing I have to say, I have to confess something. I haven't been fully authentic with you all on this channel, Selfless Awakening. There is a facet of my personality that I keep set away, locked away, and I only let special people see it. And I think it's time for me to let that part of my personality out. And what I mean by that is, my girlfriend and I were watching one of the videos I was working on shooting, and she said, you know, you're not your real self in this video. And I thought, what do you mean? She said, you're way sillier. And I thought, you know, that's true. I'm insanely silly. And if you're in my inner circle, my close circle of friends, then you know that. But on the outside, I'm a little less goofy and silly. So I do a lot of things like this. Yeah, yeah. I feel good. Huh. What are you talking about? See? And it gets a lot crazier than that too. So I've made a promise that I'm going to continue to open up to being my authentic personality on camera and not be all serious spiritual Tim all the time. So, okay? That's the first thing I want to say. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. Stuff. Here's my take on stuff. When we're kids, as we're growing up, we learn who we are by the external world and how we label the external world. At least the we that is the ego part of us. Okay? For instance, we wake up, our eyes are blinking, we're looking around the world, we don't have any labels, we have no voice in our head. And then we start learning these words, and we start learning mama, dada. In other words, that's my mama, possession. That's my dada, possession. I own them. They are a part of me. In other words, they are me. Without them, I have no reference of who I am. Okay, so you see where this is going? Then let's move on. Child's a little older, we give them a toy. They take the toy, my toy. That toy becomes a part of them. That toy is them, right? Time goes on, time goes on. We start collecting more things. We start collecting more labels. I'm a gymnast. I do well in school, or I don't do well in school. We collect these things and they become they become a label inside of ourselves that we believe to be who we are. We believe we're a collection of these labels. Because watch, what happens to a child when you take away a toy that they believe is theirs? They scream, they cry, right? Because they believe that a part of them was taken away. Literally, like you killed them a little. You took a part of their identity away. The ego, the thing that a child is creating with all of the labels, is not real, right? It's just a collection of ideas. So as soon as any of those ideas is questioned, the ego gets afraid because the ego is not real, right? So this is what's happening with our stuff in our houses. We collect all of this stuff that over the years we think this pair of shoes is me. It's got a story, right? This chair I rocked my daughter in. This chair, I can't let go of this chair. This chair has history. This chair is not only an extension of my past, but there's a part of us just like the child that believes the chair is us, is actually you. So when you let go of it, it's like a little part of you dies, right? That's where That's what's going on underneath this stuff thing. All of our stuff is an extension of our ego. It's an extension of who we think we are. And when we're afraid to let it go, it's because we're afraid to die a little. Our ego is afraid to die a little. Our ego needs to hold on to these things because our ego wants to survive. But here's the reality. Our ego isn't going to survive. Our ego is attached to our body. And our ego is going to go with our body. We are the awareness behind and around our ego. Okay? So on this spiritual journey, one of the incredible things that you can use your stuff to do is to help you break your attachment to your ego. We really don't need any of this stuff, right? Really, if you go really, like we could all sell all our stuff and move to a mountaintop and have a community, and we could maybe grow something and meditate together and wear robes and shave our heads, right? We could do that. We choose not to. But if we have, most of us choose not to, some people do, but if we have the ability to be free to let go of our stuff, to at least let go of the stuff that's not serving you anymore, that shouldn't be too hard, right? So letting go of the stuff that's not serving us is a great spiritual practice, because what that means is you are showing your ability to release identification from your ego, to pop out of the identification with the thought stream in your head, or to pop out of identification with the egoic construct that you thought you were. I thought I was the guy that had the boat. You know, that's a part of me. I need that boat because without the boat, I don't know who I am anymore. Well, who you really are is going to be the same whether you have the boat or not. You're the awareness behind your thoughts. You're the awareness that's there whether you have everything or nothing. And it's always the same, and it's always peaceful, and it's always there for you because that's who you really are, right? That's what's going on with all of this stuff. So when you watch the show and you see people on Marie Kondo's show, you see people having a hard time letting something go, it's because their ego is afraid to die a little bit by letting it go. But the cool thing is, once you start that releasing, once you really start letting go and you get through that little, oh, I'm sad to let it go, the feeling on the other side, the sensation of space in our lives is such an incredible thing. And I'm telling you, the consumer world does not want you to do this. Consumerism wants you to keep buying stuff and keep that. Make space, fill the space. Make space, fill the space. And this is where you need to have a real dialed in spiritual practice, and this is where I need to have my spiritual practice dialed in. Because I just did an incredible purge of my basement, and I still have a lot of things to do down there. I need to be mindful to not use my basement anymore as a collector, as a receptacle for all the shit that I collect that I don't have time to deal with. Because for me, here's the thing. My ego, it doesn't have a hard time with letting things go. I'll get rid of things. My ego has a hard time with making it a priority of my time to actually properly take care of things when I need to get rid of them and to set aside time to do that. For me, I have a hard time. I think that everything else is too important than cleaning the basement. So that's my internal programming to look at. And so for me now, it's the internal shift of having my life be tidy every single day, right? So that's kind of what I have going on inside. And one thing I did want to say that's really important is the way this all played out for me was I had the idea a couple months ago it was time to tend to the basement, but I wasn't quite ready to make the change yet. The change happened when I had this visualization in my mind of getting excited about the space down there, about what can I do with the basement. My daughter and I want to make it a game room, and that was a big part of helping me shift, was to visualize the change. I didn't force myself. I didn't get in the basement and really, I didn't have a ton of resistance and push through the resistance to do the basement. I didn't do that. I got internally lined up by meditating, visualizing it, and slowly allowing it to happen. I got my internal stuff lined up. And let me show you, by the way, this is a little story about what happens when you do get the internal part lined up and how the universe reinforces that. Check this out. So I was meditating, I had the visions of the space being something different, and then I kind of drifted off. My girlfriend and I moved one chair out, was super great, got the ball rolling. I got excited. Oh my gosh, maybe we'll get it going. It wasn't until there was a property inspection that needed to happen on this space that I realized, oh my God, they're going to be going in the basement. They can't see the basement like that. The universe literally cornered me into cleaning that basement. And I find that happens so many times for me. Let me know if you have that experience too, where you have a change in your life, you open up to it, you're ready to allow it to happen, but you just haven't made that change. You haven't made that step, as Abraham Hicks would say, to be ready to make the change. And then all of a sudden the universe corners you and says, nope, you're ready now because I'm putting you in a situation where you're going to really want to make the change. That happens to me all the time. On this path of self-betterment, I visualize the next step, and then the universe goes, here's how you're going to get there. So be patient with yourselves as you're making changes like this. Visualize it, hold space for it, don't force it, but get excited about it. Take a week, take 2 weeks, and just visualize the change. Get yourself internally lined up to make that change. Because letting go of our stuff, it may seem like not a big deal, but once you start doing it, sometimes what you'll realize is that egoic attachment to the thing may be stronger than you think. Okay? So when you feel that happen, you just shift back into your awareness. And some of the things you may have to wait to let go of. You're just not quite ready to let go of it yet, even though you're not using the thing. And I'm telling you, your mind is going to come up with all sorts of stories on why you can't let go of things. This is where your spiritual practice is super important. So that's one thing I would love to have with the Marie Kondo show. I'd love for them to expand it a bit, and I'd love for them to have a guru like Eckhart Tolle on there, or someone to walk through and help people realize their attachments to things, and realize that it's the ego attaching, and realize it's that little child version of them that says, mine, this is mine, I don't want to let it go because I feel like a part of me would die if I let it go. To realize that that's the thing that we need to shift to get to a place of being peaceful in our letting things come and letting things go. And in that spiritual practice, it's so beautiful, because if you're used to letting things come and letting things go in your life, that's half the battle. You are going to have such a happier life. So much of the joy of our life comes with the ability to allow the transient nature of life to happen. Change is the only constant. It's always happening. Everything's always moving. Everything, all the stuff in your life is moving. You don't really own anything anyway. Think about a TV. You buy a TV and then you move it to the guest room in a couple of years, and all of a sudden you want the 5K, the 6K, and you get rid of it. Even though you bought it, you didn't own it, you got rid of it. We don't own anything, including our bodies. They're going to go away too. So the more that we practice this letting things go, the easier it is to let things go, which is a big part of this thing. So my encouragement, get started. Get excited about letting things go. It feels so good. I can't wait to organize the basement. Well, I'm excited about it. I don't know if I can't wait. That might not be accurate. So, sending you all so much love. Watch the Marie Kondo show if you need a little inspiration. She is straight magic. Sending you all so much love on your mindfulness journeys as you're awakening. Again, subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. Click the little bell notification to stay up to date on my latest videos. Have a beautiful day.